Hi, this is Casey Truby, the Lonesome Cowboy from the cold and windy state of Wyoming. On these video clips, I'm going to show you exactly how to double your business this year, and then double it again next year, and double it again the year after. Now, once you get to 10 million, the rules change. There's a whole new set of projects and problems that come up, but won't those be good problems to have? So what we're going to do in these video clips is show you some of the things I've learned over my lifetime on successful business. Now, I've been in business a long time, 41 years. And in that time, I can't complain. Business has always been good, 1 to 5 million a year in sales. I've always managed to generate 15 to 20% net profit. I did have a couple of failures. I've owned 7 companies. 5 were very good, and they made a lot of money for me. But 2 were brilliant. They were brilliant examples of what you should never do. And I probably learned more from those 2 brilliant examples than any of the other good ones. But in 2006, something happened that brought us to this video today, and with these answers on how to double your cash flow, not sales. We don't care about sales. We only care about net cash flow. And so something happened in 2006. I married an accountant, and she came out here and wanted to get a little business going. So I went out and found her some outsourced bookkeeping clients. And I started watching her and helping her work with these clients, kind of like a little sidebar deal. And I noticed something. All of them were struggling. And I went back and I talked to her about the clients, and I went out and visited them. Why are you having trouble in your business? And I was able to come up with 7 mistakes that I see business owners making over and over and over that keep them from getting into the top 1% of the income, and that's $365,000 a year, which I think for all the work we do, that should be the minimum that we're willing to take home. We should set our goal at the minimum to be in the top 1%. Now, something really sad happened though. As soon as I started writing down these 7 mistakes that I saw happening over and over, I realized I'm making them myself. No wonder I can't get my company up to where I really wanted it to be. I want to be a $10 million company because then someone will buy you out at multiples of income and not just 1 times revenue or some skimpy deal like that. I mean, what good is that? You might as well just hire a manager and keep the darn company. So anyway, I started working with my wife and figured out that, we could use technology and modern business process engineering to slim a company down to where it's really focusing on what works. And so on these video clips, I'm going to give you one really good actionable piece of advice or information that you can implement. Then I'm going to show you how to get somebody else to do the work so that you can double your business over the next 12 months, your net income. Will it work? Well, it worked for me in 07. It worked for me in 08. It worked for me in 09. We've doubled, we've doubled, we've doubled. We think we're going to double again in 2010. So this really works. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to give you idea number 1. Now this will seem so simple, and you're probably thinking, I should have done this, or I meant to do this. I've got all the good intentions to do this, but here's what it really boils down to. Start romancing your current and past customers on a regular basis. Do you know that business people consistently ignore their old customers while they advertise for new ones? But advertising for a new customer costs 5 times more than it does to get the old customer to come back and buy. And I'm going to give you some examples right here in my own life. About 6 years ago, I had the house painted. And then 2 years later, we had a big forest fire. This is the one in California out there on the beach in San Diego. And a big forest fire, you probably heard about it in the news, in 07 comes along, and the house is covered with smoke. The next day it rains, and now I've got soot running up and down the side of the house. I kept hoping it would wash off on its own. Well, it didn't. The house needs repainted. So I finally got around to doing it, and do you know what? I cannot find the painter who did this the first time. You know why? He never bothered to call me back, send me a postcard, or keep me at least even once a year saying, do you need any touch-up or fix-up on your paint? Why, that's just plumb nuts. But I've had this happen over and over with other vendors. I've got a plumber that came out 4 years ago and replaced the furnace. Well, I live on the ocean out there. The salt air is coming up through the vents all the time. It heats the furnace out every 3 or 4 years. Last year, we didn't even have heat. We kind of was hoping for global warming so we wouldn't have to replace the furnace yet. I cannot find the plumber to come out and fix the furnace again. Now that kind of thing, that's just plumb crazy. But it happens over and over. I had a carpenter come out and do some work in the garage. Now I need a carpenter again to build a couple of gates around the place. And do you know I can't find the carpenter who did the work for me? So I see this in my own life every single day. That carpenter's probably out there running ads in the newspaper. He's probably putting flyers under people's windshields. He's probably knocking on doors of general contractors, hoping to get a little extra work during bad times, when I'm sitting here ready to buy and I can't find him. Well, that's just crazy. So the very first thing I recommend you do is go back to your current and past customers and start romancing them. Now, to do this, you need to build a list. You have to have a list of who you've done business with. Now, you've heard me talk about this before if you've ever been to one of my seminars, but I got to tell you, it's the most ignored and fast, easiest way to get cash imaginable in a business. Get one list of everyone you've ever done business with. Even if you haven't seen them for a couple of years, build a list. Now, I use Salesforce. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at our screen right now. Salesforce.com has a real easy, low-cost contact manager that is $5 a month. And you can get 2 or 3 users like this so that you can get a teenager or some work-at-home mom to do all your database work. So come back to me now. And if you would buy Salesforce.com, it's an online database. That means computing in the cloud. You'll hear me talk about that a lot over the next year because we don't have servers in our business. I actually have 65 employees around the world, but I work out of my house. Everything is on the cloud, and that means that a service bureau where they manage all of my computers, programs, software, and I don't have to worry about it. It's far cheaper than having those computers in my office. Because you know, when the computers in your office break down, nobody does any work, do they? Everybody sits around and waits for the guy with the ponytail and the earring to show up. And until then, you're toast. So I use this online software so that I can update my list and I can hire somebody else to update it. Maybe you can hire a teenager to come in, or maybe you can even go to our Delegation Magic, which you'll find on CaseyTruby.com. If you're using Delegation Magic, you'll find some labor sources available where you can just click on this page. And if you look at it right now on the computer screen, you can just click on this page and assign tasks to somebody and say, get this done. So what we're doing here is we're building a list. And you want to put everybody you've ever known, everyone you've ever done business with, into this mailing list. Then start sending them something. And you know what? It doesn't even matter what you send them. You can send them birthday cards. You can send them a quarterly postcard. You can, if they're good customers, if they're on your A list, even look at sending them gifts once in a while. So the biggest piece of advice I can give you is to go back to the people who you've done business with in the past. Businesses that do this report a 25% gain in sales over last year. And remember, we only needed 10% as part of our equation to double net this year. A 25% gain. How much will this cost you to do? Well, at $10 an hour, you're probably going to spend 10, 20, 30 hours compiling lists from the QuickBooks and from business cards and from file folders, everywhere you've got. So maybe 10, 20, 30 hours at $10 an hour. So what's that? $300. How much do I spend? I send letters to my customers every month. So I spend on average about $1 per customer per month, $12 to $15 a year. For that 25% increase in sales, what a bargain. That's step number 1. Build a list of all your customers and then romance them so they keep coming back. Thanks, it's Casey Truby. Let's keep that cash register ringing.